I was diagnosed with a dysautonomia several months ago. I've had it for several years, on and off. I have like periods of time where I have it and periods of time where it's in remission. But basically, dysautonomias involve the autonomic nervous system. They're an umbrella term kind of used to describe neurological disorders, and it can also fall in cardiovascular disorders, but it's a malfunction of the autonomic nervous system, which regulates your autonomic functions like your heart rate, blood pressure, sweating, breathing rate, stuff like that. I definitely went through like a rock bottom point with it, and so I documented it, and I just wanted to share just because October is Dysautonomia Awareness Month. Most people know what dysautonomias are, they just don't recognize the name. So like POTS is the most common one. I first noticed really weird heart rate fluctuations and inconsistencies. I noticed my heart rate was getting in the 140s frequently at a resting point. And then I also noticed bradycardia. I could go on and on about all the other symptoms that came after that. To sum it up, for me, they included extreme dizziness, blackouts, or some people refer to them as grayouts is more of the correct term, since I didn't lose consciousness, but I would lose my vision. The majority of them happened at certain times, so it did have a pattern to it that I was able to kind of work with. For me, it wasn't postural or orthostatic, it was situational. That's why it aligns more with vasovagal syncope. Blood draws, anxiety. Every single time I would leave my house, it would happen. At this point, I couldn't drive, it happened every time I would drive. If I was walking, moving around, I wouldn't have a blackout or grayout episode. But if I was still, it would happen more often, so that was another trigger for it. Your heart rate and your blood pressure, they go hand in hand, right? If your heart rate drops, your blood pressure is going to drop because your blood is not circulating throughout your body like it should be. For me, the Holter monitor that I did, it didn't necessarily catch anything significant. It did notice like tachycardia, but all I know from what I've been told from doctors is my blood pressure is dropping, which I can actually feel my blood drop and like pool in my legs. And it happens very, very quickly, just a few seconds. Then my vision goes. If you're ever in a situation where someone passes out, help them get on the ground flat. Help them lay down and lift their legs and their feet up in the air. That way their blood travels back to their head. The blood flow gets to their brain. Oxygen gets to their brain. There's generally 3 classifications that syncope falls under. That's reflex or neural mediated syncope, which reflex is kind of different. Sometimes people will pass out during like bowel movements or when they sneeze too hard or things like that. Neural mediated is more so that vasovagal. Kind of has a psychiatric role in it almost. Anxiety can be a big trigger for it. Needles, blood draws, things like that. And that is super, super common for people to have a couple times in their life. For me, it was just happening several times every day. And there's orthostatic, which is like POTS is like the classic example of that. It's just positional. And then cardiac causes. Like if you have an actual abnormal heart arrhythmia besides like SVT. I documented everything. Clips through videos explaining what I was going through, treatment plans in my phone. My notes app had so many different notes in there about like documentation of my episodes and my dizziness, my medications, my symptoms, my doctor's appointments, everything. I was on several medications, testing them out. I was on some that did not work for me, and I found some that do work for me now, but I was constantly checking my pulse. A lot of people experience tachycardia if they're dehydrated, so a lot of people with POTS are recommended to drink like 70 ounces of water a day. So I tried that. I brought my water bottle with me everywhere. I know a lot of people with POTS, their go-to is liquid IV or Gatorade, different drinks. I'm just gonna share some of my clips with it, my struggles with it. This is the roughest period of my life that I've been through. A few days ago I went out on a walk, and walks have gotten a little bit easier over time. I was dizzy the whole entire walk. I felt like I needed to hold on to something around me. It was at a point before I came up here, it was really bad. It was getting to the point where I just laid in bed all day. I tried Zoloft for the first time, and I had some bad side effects from that, like tremors and waking up with nausea. It messed up my sleep. My dad was in the passenger seat and I was in the driver's seat driving, and then a red light was coming up. I told him I'm about to have an episode, and he said, okay, put your head down, I'll tell you when the light turns green. And that helped me a lot. I haven't driven since then, so I think I'll be okay. I just got 11 more vials of blood taken. My ferritin, my iron storage was low, and my total iron binding capacity was abnormal as well. He recommended an iron transfusion. Today was a little bit of a dizzy day. Wasn't feeling it today, but that's okay. I'm still gonna have dizzy days. Since I noticed it was kind of a dizzy day, I checked my Oura ring, and I was a little on the Brady side. I do get slow heart rate sometimes. My health recovery is my goal, above anything. I also have been getting some responses on some support groups, which is really nice. Also interested in getting a Dysautonomia t-shirt with a little blue ribbon. For all of those out there with dysautonomias, if you struggle with anything like that, you can reach out to me, because I went through it and I'm also in school for it. If you didn't know what dysautonomias were before, which medically it translates to dysfunction of the autonomic nervous system. That's just an easy way to remember it, but now at least you know what that is, and I can spread a little bit of awareness for Dysautonomia Awareness Month in October.